College football is back, and we're back on the Big Mountain, where we bring you a fresh take on college football betting focused on the Big Ten and the Mountain West.
Yep, it's great to have you here on the Big Mountain. I am JY, and this is my good friend Steve. And in this episode, we want to talk about the Penn State Iowa game. Steve was at this game, the good old whiteout in the rain. And I'll tell you what, what I could see from TV, it looked phenomenal, rain or no rain. And I'm really anxious to hear about what Steve has to say. He really hasn't filled me in on too much, so I'm going to hear this when you guys hear this, and my reactions are hopefully your reactions. So, Steve, fill us in. This was just a slobber knocker. Holy cow. What the heck happened up there?
So the whiteout is something special.
Yeah.
It's a special event every year. The atmosphere is absolutely like nothing I've ever experienced every year with the whiteout. The place was packed, even with the raining all day, windy, absolutely packed. Student section was full. The energy in the building, the stands are swaying. It's absolutely amazing. Lived up to the billing. You know, we talked about there was some bad blood between Penn State and Iowa. Just a couple years ago, Iowa kind of derailed Penn State's season. Penn State lost some players, some for the year. And Iowa fans, coaches kind of mocked some of those injuries and whatever, created some bad blood. I said the Penn State staff had this game circled on their calendars, and boy did they. Every member of the team, they were out for Iowa Hawkeye blood. This was a slaughter.
30 for sure.
31-0, and the game it was even more lopsided than that, you know. So let's get right into it. Penn State just dominated this. So I'll go down some stats here.
Yep.
This is the one that really jumped out at me. I know we were talking about this. Penn State had 28 first downs. Iowa had 4.
That blows me away.
Absolutely. Just crazy. We talked about Brian Ferentz having to average 25 points a game to continue with his job, and he's the son of the head coach. And he was up a little bit. He was down, he was up.
Right, big offensive week last week.
Yeah, but now 0 points. Now that's a negative 25 he took this week.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, the Penn State players and the Penn State coaches, they took special pleasure in that.
I'm sure.
It was very apparent.
Well, that's bulletin board type stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So 28 points. Or 28 first downs to 4. Yards. So Penn State, 397 yards. You know, Penn State really did not unleash their offense this game.
Yeah.
They used a lot of 2 tight end sets. Warren had a couple touchdown catches. Dinkins, another tight end, had a touchdown catch. Theo Johnson had some great catches. They threw a little bit to Keandre Lambert, one of their wide receivers. But other than that, it was very, short 4, 5, 6, 7 yard passes, a lot of running the ball, a lot of sustained drives. Great. They had great third down on efficiency, and when they didn't get it on third down, they went for it on fourth down. We're 4 for 4 on fourth down, including a touchdown.
That's how you stay on the field.
Yeah, absolutely no mercy. Anytime they had the chance to step on Iowa's throat, they stepped on Iowa's throat, and it was great. As a fan being there, and the fans loved it. Every time they would sack the Iowa quarterback, every time they would create a turnover, every time they would score points, the fans wanted more. It was great.
Well, let me ask you a question. You brought up the tight end play.
Yes.
And I feel like tight ends at Penn State, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they seem to have been much more of a focus under the Franklin era here than maybe they were in the past. Is that something you see from Franklin, or... I mean, I know the game has evolved too. A lot of tight ends and a lot of systems have gotten a lot more work. But it just seems like the tight ends at Penn State really get a lot of receptions, a lot of looks, and things like that.
So, and it's hard to tell if that's by design or by accident.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you. A lot of Penn State fans have wondered that. Start off with Mike Gesicki, which I can't remember if he was brought in under Bill O'Brien or if it was Franklin at the very beginning. But he played under Franklin, had a great career in college, continued on to the NFL.
Right.
Pat Freiermuth away as a freshman, redshirt freshman, hit the scene, took over right where Gesicki had left off, and now he's playing with the Steelers in the NFL.
And you were on him from the get. You go, this guy's going to be an NFL tight end. You were just all over him from the very beginning.
Absolutely. And so I honestly don't know if it's on purpose by Franklin or if they've gotten lucky, but they have a stacked tight end room this year. They lost one of their I would say their second best tight end last year went into the draft, and they just reload and reload and reload. And this year they have 3 tight ends that are all they're good both ways. They can kill you receiving. They can stay in and block in the running game. They can put 2, 3 tight ends out there at a time. Warren is a converted quarterback, so we've seen them use him as a short yardage quarterback. He was in there this week and doing that, pushing the pile and in there as a key on their short yardage. So you're right. Penn State has not had great luck with receivers. They every year they seem to have one really good receiver and then 3 or 4 just guys or whatever that are just out there. It's fallen upon those tight ends to be special, and so far they are. They're not putting up huge, massive numbers, but they're an important part of that offense. And they were this week. The running game and the tight ends, so continue to be really important. So to continue, Iowa 4 turnovers, Penn State nothing, no turnovers whatsoever. So Penn State this year has not turned the ball over one time.
That's a recipe for success no matter who you are.
Absolutely. Drew Aller, their star quarterback they brought in, he played some last year, this year, and I think 12 career games, has yet to throw an interception or fumble the ball. Absolutely amazing. They've only given up 1 sack this year. 4 games, they've given up 1 sack, and that's those kind of numbers is what makes them. You know, we talked about this. Penn State has won, I think, 9 in a row against the spread. They have 11 games in a row, 30 points or more. They got 31 this week against an Iowa defense. There were people that picked Iowa to beat Penn State straight up this week, not just like cover the point spread, beat them points straight up. So
there's definitely some Penn State naysayers out there, no doubt about that.
Absolutely, and I get it because Penn State has not fully unleashed the offense that people thought they would. So I totally get it. They have room for improvement. They've been conservative on offense. So I totally get the naysayers, but when you have not turned the ball over, when you don't turn the ball over, you don't give up sacks, you can run the ball well, you can hit your tight end for touchdowns, play great defense. They haven't maybe produced tons and tons of sacks, but their pass rushers are getting and pressuring. They're getting the quarterbacks, pressuring the quarterback, causing them to either throw bad throws like we saw against Illinois, or just eat the ball like we saw this week.
Well, the 2 things on that. Number 1, when you only have 1 sack, probably not too surprising that he doesn't have a fumble. And even maybe some interceptions. Right now, that doesn't mean he's not getting rushed or hit or anything like that. But that tells you the kind of protection that he has.
Absolutely.
Well, when the quarterbacks have protection, they can make appropriate reads and appropriate throws. So I think that certainly is one in the same, or at least one leads to the other. The second thing I want to bring up, and I apologize, I know I'm going to say a 4-letter word here for Penn State fans, but I want to do kind of a yin and yang. So I'm going to bring up Michigan. So you've just talked about how, maybe the offense, struggle is not the right word, but the offense isn't being more, maybe they're more conservative. They're not doing what maybe people would like them to do or whatever.
Absolutely.
So they're not getting, they're getting deducted, so to speak, points or whatever the case may be. But let's look at Michigan for a minute. They haven't beat a spread this year.
No.
They're, in my opinion, being conservative. I didn't think they're a good team. And I'm not saying this as trying to be, Steve's friend right now. But I look at that and I look at the Rutgers game and I watch the game. Very good team. Don't get me wrong. Very good team. But they're not putting up the points either. And everybody thinks they're the best damn team or second best team in the country. Why?
I think a lot of it is just carryover from last year. So last year, Michigan beat Ohio State for the 2nd year in a row. They beat Penn State. They smashed Penn State last year. Let's just be honest. They smashed Penn State last year, beat Ohio State the 2nd year in a row, won the Big Ten for the 2nd year in a row, went to the college football playoff 2nd year in a row. So I think all of the hype and the love for Michigan, including some of my own, I've been high on Michigan, is based on that's what they did last year. They have the same roster. You would just assume that they're going to be an improvement. And so far, like you said, they haven't shown that. They haven't lived up to expectations. They're 0-4 against the spread. We've picked against Michigan 4 times this year, 4 winners.
And we're talking about what they can be.
Yes.
Well, one team, what they can be, they're getting a lot of credit for. And the other team, what they can be, they're not. That's why I'm bringing it up. I'm not bringing it up to say, oh, Michigan, blah, blah, blah. I'm bringing it up from the point that you're saying about Penn State, in that and I'm using Michigan because I think it's a prime example here, and obviously it's Big Ten foe.
Yes.
But it just seems, again, like a yin and yang. And I get it. When you've got these top 3 or 4, I mean, Alabama gets the credit no matter what happens. I mean, look at them right now. And they're still a really, really good team. And now Texas is number 3 because they beat them. Not really. I mean, that's a whole nother. I'm derailing the episode.
Yeah.
I just don't understand that. Like, take them for what they are.
I think you make an excellent point, and I always like to say great teams cover.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Michigan has not covered once this year. So if you took the product just on what's this year,
yes,
you would say Penn State should be ranked ahead of Michigan. But now what I will say to you, and I think you make great points, absolutely make great points. If we're going to look at it from a just purely analytical perspective, totally agree with you. As a Penn State fan, because I am a Penn State fan, I honestly don't care because I like the mentality they've taken on. Penn State, they're playing mad. They're playing pissed off.
Which is awesome.
They were pissed off in this game still. Yeah. Held a grudge from 2 years ago.
Good.
And smashed Iowa, smashed these Hawkeyes. Like they stole their wife, their girlfriend, their dog, and all their money, and took their Xbox and their PlayStation.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
Yes, exactly. Smash them. So I want them to continue to be overlooked. I want people to keep hyping up Michigan, hyping up Ohio State, hyping up those teams because Iowa had this coming, and I think the Penn State players, they're still. They're embarrassed by what happened last year when Michigan just stomped them last year. Okay. They were embarrassed by that, and I think they're ready to pay that back later on in November. So I'm good with it the way it keeps going. Penn State's doing what they need to do, playing great defense. Want to talk about that defense a little bit?
Please.
Chop Robinson, he's going to be a first-round NFL draft pick. He was a transfer from Maryland last year, really took a step last year. And this year, to me, he's playing as the best pass rusher in the country right now. Just absolutely phenomenal. On the other end, they got Adisa Isaac. He's getting pressure. The defensive tackles are holding up good in the running game and getting pressure. Abdul Carter playing linebacker. He's dropping into coverage. He's going out into the flats. He's rushing the passer. He's stuffing run gaps. He started a little slow the first couple games, but these last couple games, he's improved, and turned into that monster, that eraser that Micah Parsons used to be. We called him a vacuum. He'd just suck up ball carriers. Wherever they were, he just like a vacuum sucked them up, and Abdul Carter is following that path and turning into that. I love this defense. The secondary continue to get interceptions. Kalen King, no one's throwing at Kalen King. All the hype last year was around Joey Porter Jr., who went in the second round, first pick in the second round draft. And great player. Love to see him have success with the Steelers. Yeah. But some of that was his name. I said last year Kalen King was actually the best defensive back. Nobody's throwing to him. That's a sign of respect. Right. So every level of this defense, I love how they're playing. They're running the ball. The quarterback's not turning it over. I don't think they've fully unleashed the offense. As far as this week, I say as a Penn State fan, Iowa had this ass kicking coming to them, and that's what Penn State gave them. Yeah. I took some satisfaction in that personally. It was a great game to be at. I was excited. So for my fellow Penn State fans, keep tuning in. I'm going to be talking about Penn State every week, and giving you my experiences. I'll be at all the games. And I just love the way this team is playing. Just let's keep the train riding.
We are.
Yeah, we are Penn State. 9 in a row. We are 9 in a row. 9-0 against the spread in the last 9 games. Let's keep rolling.
We are Hawkeye killers.
Yeah. Last couple years, Auburn. We were.
Yes.
We were their daddies.
Yes, you were.
Years. Sean Clifford was Auburn's daddy the last 2 years. Yeah. And this year we gave Iowa. They had this coming to them. They did, and we gave it to them. So.
Awesome. Well, hey. Great summary. Anything else you want to say about just the atmosphere?
Great atmosphere. I'm really looking for. We've had 2 great night games this year. I'm really looking forward to. They're going to be hosting Michigan later on in the season in November. So I think we'll probably do some maybe a preview of that game. Talk about that game.
Absolutely.
So if you're interested, that Penn State Michigan game, we're going to be talking about both of those teams all season. We'll probably do a special preview on that game. I'll be there in person. So I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome.
They have Ohio State coming up at Ohio State in a few weeks. After they'll play Northwestern, have a bye, play UMass.
Oh my goodness!
Exactly. And
you can't make that spread big enough,
right? And then travel to Ohio State. So really looking forward to this season. It's going great so far. So Penn State fans, keep it here. and we're going to give you all our thoughts on Penn State this year and what I think is going to be a really special season.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Steve. Awesome to hear. Really good information for us. Hey, if you like what we have to say here, make sure you subscribe. We have a lot of college football material already up if you want to go back and take a look at it. Way more yet to come here. We're still in the beginning stages of this season's college football season. If you're looking for picks and analysis, we have those coming out every week as well. Steve and I Steve gives his Big Ten picks. I'm the Mountain West guy. I give my Mountain West picks, and we also do some other picks. Pick teams that we like to bet on. Right now we're looking at Washington. That's one of the teams that we like to look at. So if you like what we're doing here, just give us a subscribe. Give us some comments. I'm sure Steve would love to hear from you. If you're a Hawkeyes fan, see what you have to say about that.
You had it coming.
You had it coming. There you go. So anyway, hey, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on the Big Mountain.